Next, I'm going to tell you about the future of monitoring, how I see it. The next level would be so-called root cause detection. And what I mean by it, it's by detecting the root cause of the monitoring bottleneck. And it's a AI-driven concept. This means that performance monitoring software would be able to track all the weight stats, all the instance level configurations, the database options, TSQL queries, indexing, all the performance counters, etc. And based on analysis of all these factors, it can say that, okay, it sees that now there is a monitoring bottleneck. And by investigating all this information, it says with this highest probability, the reason is this. And with this probability, the reason for this bottleneck is this. And next, with this probability, the reason is this. And then by feedback loop, the software can learn that what is the right reason for that, so it can even improve the accuracy of forecast over time. And what does this mean? So as a pro, it means like you're able to help your decision making, you have faster time to solution, but as a cons, you may have actually risk of making wrong decisions, and it's very complex to implement. Next level would be so-called root cause fixing. This means that you would be able to detect the root cause of the monitoring bottleneck and also to fix it. And that's AI-driven concept as well. So it kind of augments the earlier slide where I told about the root cause analysis. So now what comes to this root cause fixing, it means that you're not only able to say that, okay, with this probability, the reason is this, but the system is so confident on what is going on in the system that is able to also fix it. Okay, now I'm going to add up the index there. Now I'm going to drop index from there. And or I'm going to fix a maxdop setting on a certain instance level configuration and so on in order to fix the exact problem that I'm going to have, that I'm currently having in my system. Pros are that you're going to have less firefighting, faster time to solution, higher SLAs and uptime. But cons is that it's very, very complex to implement, and there is still a risk of making wrong decisions. The last level I would see in the future of monitoring would be so-called root cause prevention. What I mean by it, it's that the algorithm would be able to preliminarily detect the root cause of the monitoring bottleneck and fix it. And that's, of course, AI-driven concept as well. So it would use all these mechanisms and a lot more that I have told you today in order to be able to do that magic. So it would see that within 3 hours, I'm going to have a problem of this, and this is how I'm going to fix it, and it fixes it. And then just informs a DBA that, okay, I fixed the problem that would have occurred in the system if nothing wouldn't been done. And of course, there is lots of risks in this kind of ideology that further and further the AI develops, it's also possible to actually have such a system. So it's just a question of time. Then it would mean that it's still, I don't believe that there will be a point of time when there is no DBA needed at all. There also always need to be a DBA that is able to understand all the nuances of the system and all the business logic changes on the system and things like that, that would be very hard to teach for the AI. So that's how I see it. Like there is always a need for hardcore programmers in TSQL for a long, long time still, and also need for a deep, in-depth understanding of the inner mechanisms of the database engines and so forth. Pros for this kind of root cause prevention would be less firefighting, faster time to solution, higher SLAs and uptime, and cons would be this kind of mechanism would be extremely complex to implement, and risk of making wrong decision still exists.